Good day, everyone. Welcome to this lecture series about nuclear chemistry and energy, part 3. So this is all about nuclear stability and radioactivity. Nuclear stability is a concept that helps to identify the stability of an isotope. To identify the stability of an isotope, it is needed to find the ratio, okay, the ratio of the neutrons to protons, okay, or N over P. So to determine the stability of an isotope, you can use the ratio of the neutron and proton. So this is we're going to use to know if the isotope of an element is stable or not. So the principal factor that determines whether a nucleus is stable is the neutron to proton ratio. For stable atoms of elements having low atomic number, okay, low atomic number daw, the N over P value is close to 1. Okay? So as the atomic number increases, the neutron to proton ratios of the stable nuclei becomes greater than 1. So this deviation is at higher atomic number arises because of large number of neutrons is needed to counteract the strong repulsions among the protons and stabilize the nucleus. Okay? So, unstable ang ating nucleus kapag or there is a high chance of having an isotope of a nucleus or nucleus of an isotope being unstable kapag napakalaki. Okay? So, ibig sabihin kasi ng malaki na nucleus, ibig sabihin marami ang neutrons or marami ang protons. Okay? For example of having a lot of neutrons, kapag maraming neutrons, kailangan ng marami din na proton para maging ma-stabilize ang nucleus natin. Ang nucleus kasi natin, there is what we call a strong force that keeps the neutrons and the protons together. Kung mas marami ang neutrons, syempre may chance na ire-repel niya yung proton. Or kung mas marami naman ang proton, may chance or mataas ang chance na ire-repel niya ang neutrons. So, dahil sa phenomenon na yun, nagiging unstable ang ating isotope or naging unstable ang ating nucleus, I should say. So, dapat, para maging stable ang ating nucleus, dapat equal range sila. Okay? So, dapat ang N over P ratio natin, it is equal to 1 or close to 1. Okay? So, yan ang magiging indication natin if the nucleus is stable or not. Alright, so the number of stable isotopes with even and odd number of protons and neutrons. Okay, so makikita natin kung ilan ang stable isotopes niya. So kapag add and then add, ang protons ay add, ang neutrons ay add din, the number of stable isotopes ay 4. So add even, 50. Kapag even add, 53. Kapag even, 164. So these stable nuclei have approximately equal number of neutrons as protons, and a strong excess of one or the other will result to unstable nucleus. Yun yung sinabi ko, kapag mas marami ang neutrons sa protons, unstable. Pero pag marami ang protons sa neutrons, unstable pa rin. So dapat talaga approximately equal number ang proton sa neutron. Okay? So the ratio of neutrons to protons in a stable nucleus is around 1:1 or just equal to 1 for small nuclei. Kapag ang atomic number is less than 20, automatic na stable yan. Okay? So, nuclear stability, so a certain combination of a neutron and proton confer stability. So the even isotope make up most of the Earth crust. Example niyan ay yung oxygen 16, silicon 28, carbon 12, calcium 40, magnesium 24, and then light nuclides like hydrogen, lithium, boron, nitrogen. It has add nucleons characteristics and are considered stable due to their equal number of neutrons and protons. Okay, so nuclear stability, so there are 4 add characteristics that are weakly radioactive, weakly. Okay, so ibig sabihin, mahina lang itong ating calcium, itong Lu, itong vanadium natin, and itong La natin. So nuclides containing the odd numbers of both protons and neutrons are least stable and means more radioactive. Okay? Kapag odd numbers yan, yung protons and neutrons natin mas radioactive at mas unstable. So nuclides containing even numbers of both protons and neutrons are more stable, and this means less radioactive. Okay, so please try to remember that. Nuclides with equal number of neutrons and protons lie on a straight line in neutron versus proton plot. Okay, we have a plot here. Okay, we have a plot here. So we have what we call the zone of stability. Ang x-axis natin, that is the number of protons. Ang y-axis natin ay number of neutrons. So for example, we have a say 20 ang ating protons and 20 rin ang ating neutrons. So it falls inside the zone of stability. Okay? And ang zone of stability natin hanggang 83 lang yan. So 83 na number of protons. So from here, so nakat na siya dito sa 83 na number of protons or atomic number na 83, yan yung bismuth natin. Yun lang ang pwede na maging stable. Beyond that, beyond 83, yan na yung unstable. Yan yung mga unstable na talaga. Ito yung mga ginagamit na natin for nuclear power plants. Okay? And yung ratio ng NP natin ay malayo na masyado sa 1. Okay? Malayo na masyado sa 1. Sa unstable na yan. So, most naturally occurring isotopes are stable. Elements with atomic number of 1 to 20 are stable. Elements with atomic numbers from 21 to 83 are marginally stable, and their NP ratio is 1.5/1. Okay, and the elements with atomic numbers higher than 83 are unstable and radioactive. Okay. So, unstable isotopes include a few naturally occurring isotopes and all man-made isotopes. Okay, so unstable isotopes can become stable isotopes. Nagiging stable sila by releasing atomic particles in the process of radioactive decay. Okay? So, lahat naman ng excited, di ba, parang ang instability ay parang sobrang excited. Parang ikaw na parang kapag nakita mo si crush, sobrang excited mo, di ba? Sobrang excited mo. Ibig sabihin ng emotions mo are unstable. Pero sa time na nag-release ka ng emotion, magiging stable yan. Okay? Parang ganito din sa ating radioactivity. Okay? Elements that are, all man-made na isotopes o yung isotopes that has greater atomic number na 83 are unstable, pero kapag nag-release sila ng atomic particles sa process ng radioactive decay like alpha particle decay, beta particle decay, gamma particle decay, or yung mga mode of decay natin kanina, kapag nag-release sila ng ganung particles, nagiging mas stable sila kaysa sa previous na naging itsura nila. Okay? So ganun yun. And so, so the isotopes undergoing the process are called radioisotopes or radionuclides. Okay? So, please try to remember and keep that in mind. Okay? So, natural radioactivity. So, sino ba yung nag-discover ng radioactivity? Okay? So, si Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, ang discover niya naman ay yung X-rays. Okay? So, dahil sa sobrang, these X-rays are comparable to your gamma rays. Okay? This is a type of radiation na walang masyadong biological effect or hindi siya masyadong poisonous, di ba? Ang iniisip kasi natin kapag radiation ay masama sa atin, di ba? Or yes, but that is generally the thought na ang radiation ay masama talaga, pero it has different properties depending on what kind of radiation is that. For example, itong gamma rays, ito ay X-rays din. Diba? Ito ay ginagamit for imaging sa medical. Kung baka pa-X-ray ka ng lungs mo, makikita. Kasi it can penetrate through your flesh and bones dahil sa sobrang bilis nito. Okay? And yung frequency nito ay malalalim. Okay? Maliliit. Alright? Si Antoine Henry Becquerel naman, sinabi niya, uranium emits something. Ganun. Ibig sabihin, naka-discover niya na may something sa uranium na ini-emit niya na parang naapektuhan tayo. Parang ganun. So, later on, itong uranium, anong ini-emit niya dito? Ang ini-emit niya ay alpha particle. Okay? And then, by further studying, si Pierre and Marie Curie, na study na nila ito, and then they called this phenomenon radioactivity. Okay? So, that's how radioactivity is discovered. Okay, so natural radioactivity, so nuclei outside the belt of stability, okay, as well as the nuclear with more than 83 protons tend to be unstable. So, ulit yan. The spontaneous emission by unstable nuclei of particles or electromagnetic radiation or both is known as radioactivity. Yung emission. The emission of radiation is radioactivity. The disintegration of radioactive nucleus is often beginning of radioactive decay series. So, which is a series of nuclear reactions that ultimately result in formation of a stable isotope. So, habang nagre-release ng radiation or habang nangyayari ang radioactive decay, nagiging stable ang mga unstable na isotopes. So, take a look at these examples. So, ang uranium natin, when it emits an alpha particle, it has a more stable isotope or more stable nucleus na thorium. Okay? And ang thorium natin, kapag nag-emit siya ng electron, it has a more stable particle or nucleus na protactinium. Okay? Same is true sa ating radium 88. Okay? When it emits an alpha particle, it has a more stable nucleus na 86, which is the radon. Okay? Ganon. Alright, so we have went through this already. Kapag mas mabigat, mas unstable. Okay? And kapag mabigat yan, they need to release particles like alpha, gamma, electrons, and positrons. So these are the types of radioactive rays. So binabanggit ko na kanina pa itong mga to. So we have this alpha particle, beta particle, the gamma particle rays. Okay? So isa-isahin natin. So alpha particle, it is a helium nucleus whose mass number is 4, and nuclear charge or the atomic number is 2. Okay? So, for proton-rich heavy nuclei, kapag mabigat talaga yung nuclei na yan, ang posible na mode of decay niya ay alpha, kasi siya yung pinakamabigat. Okay? For tuba naman. Right? And the alpha particle, alpha decay, so it has the largest ionizing power or ability to ionize molecules and atoms due to largeness of alpha particle. But it has the lowest penetrating power or the ability to penetrate matter such as skin, even air, or protect against alpha particle radiation. So ito yung sinasabi ko na sa inyo. Ang alpha particle natin is the most dangerous, and so far from the other particles, ito yung pinaka-poisonous. Okay? That's why ang mga radiation, ang mga isotopes na unstable na napakalalaki nila, mga malalaki ang nucleus, it emits an alpha particle, and this has the greatest biodegradation. Kung nainom mo ito or pumasok sa katawan mo, you will be dead by siguro 24 hours, ganun. Okay? So, I just want to share with you a true-to-life story, okay, about this alpha decay. Okay, so parang this is siguro 1990s ito. So, hindi siya 1990s actually, kumbaga hindi para tayo pinapanganak pero nangyari na ito. So there was parang may alitan kasi ang Great Britain at Russia. Of course, laging kalaban ng Russia noon, di ba? And we have a spy noon, ang pangalan niya is Alexander Litvinov. Parang ganon. Basta Alexander, hindi ko mabigkas ang apelido. You can search it on the internet. So, spy siya from the Russia at pumunta siya sa Britain. Okay? Pero, nakalaunan, parang naging kakampi siya ng British. Diba? So, ang alam niya, hindi pa alam ng Russia yun. So, may dalawang bisita from Russia na bumisita sa kanya. Kay Alexander Litvinov. And syempre kapag nagbibisita, nagbibigay sila ng like tsaa, ganun, or tea, di ba? So, uminom sila ng tea, and then umalis na yung dalawang Russian. And then parang nagbabago yung itsura ni Alexander. So, pina-hospital siya, diagnose siya, pero hindi nila alam ang dahilan kung bakit siya nagkakaganon. Nade-degrade ang kanyang katawan. Okay, nade-degrade. And then, after less than 24 hours, namatay siya. Okay? So, nalaman pala ng Russia na hindi na siya spy. Kampi na siya ng Britain. So, ang ginawa sa kanya ay pina-assassinate. So, anong ginamit na pang-assassinate? Ang ginamit ay polonium-210. Ang polonium-210 natin ay nag-e-emit ng alpha particle kasi unstable siya. And alpha particle ang pumatay sa kanya. And hindi alam ng Britain noon ang dahilan. Nalaman lang nung time na inautopsy na siya. So, he was dead because of radiation. So, ganun ka-powerful ang alpha particle. You can be dead. Okay? Because that is a radiation. Okay? Pero, nangyayari lang yan kapag ininom mo or diretso sa loob mo. Okay? Pero kung hinawakan mo ang alpha particle, it cannot kill you. Kasi, sabi dito, it has the lowest penetrating power. Hindi yan nakaka-penetrate sa skin natin. Okay? So, hindi yan nakaka-penetrate kahit sa air mismo. Kahit humangin pa yan papunta sa'yo, hindi siya nagpe-penetrate doon. So, that's why alpha particle, dangerous man siya, hindi niya kayang i-penetrate kahit ang papel. Okay? So, safe pa din na hawakan. Okay? You just have to know how to handle it. Huwag mong kakainin. Huwag mong ilalagay sa bunganga mo. Okay? So, ganun yun. So, imagine if alpha has the highest penetrating power. So, parang it is impossible for us to handle it. So, buti na lang, alpha particle natin ay hindi siya nagpe-penetrate masyado. Okay, so that is alpha particle. So, alalahanin nyo na lang yan. Okay, so when a radiation element emits an alpha particle, the mass number of the daughter element is decreased by 4, okay? And the atomic number gets increased by 2. So, parang kagaya ng example na ito. Alright, yan. And then yung alpha decay natin, okay, sinabi ko naman na yan, yung itsura niya. So, alpha natin is, of course, hindi kasi makita dito. Okay, so for example, ang alpha, this is the unstable form. Ang ating more stable form ay magiging X. Alright. Z minus 2. Itong Z natin dito. And then, A minus 4. Okay? So, ito yung may nagiging more stable na isotope niya. Kasi, nag-release siya ng alpha. Alright, so this is how, parang you can just imagine it like this. Ang radon natin, from this bigger nucleus, diba? Kapag bigger, more unstable. And then, imagine mo, binawasan mo siya ng alpha, nag-emit na siya ng alpha, naging radon na lang siya. Okay, this is radium, this is radon. Okay, mas lumiit. Kapag mas lumiit, ibig sabihin mas naging stable. Okay, so these are some of the examples of that. Ayan. Okay, ulit-ulit lang naman yan. Let's move on to the beta particle. So, beta particle natin, it is a fast-moving electron which is emitted from the nucleus of an atom undergoing radioactive decay. Okay? So, parang so this beta decay occurs when a neutron changes into proton and an electron. So parang ito yung electron na galing sa nucleus. So parang napupush back siya from the nucleus. That is beta decay. And many neutron-rich radioactive nuclides decay by changing a neutron into parent nucleus into proton and emitting energetic neutron. Okay, so parang ganun na nga. So as a result of beta decay, the nucleus has one less neutron but extra proton. Okay, so the atomic number Z increases by 1 and the mass number stays the same kasi ang itsura ng beta natin is ganyan. Okay, hindi naapektuhan ang mass number kasi 0 naman yan. Okay, so we have this example like this, alright? So, ang ating beta particle ay because of the changing here, so ang neutron natin naging proton, okay? Ang isang neutron natin naging proton, so naging 85 ito, okay? And it emits this beta particle. So this is an electron, pero galing siya dito sa ating polonium. Yeah. Okay, these are some of the examples of that. Ulit-ulit lang naman yan. Gamma ray, let's move on to gamma rays. So gamma rays are not charged particles like alpha and beta. Wala siyang charge. And gamma rays are electromagnetic radiation with high frequency. Ang gamma natin, ang itsura niya ay parang wala lang actually. So para siyang ray, okay? It's not a particle actually. It is a ray. Kumbaga sun rays, ganun. Walang charge, wala ding mass. Okay? So ano 'yun? 'Di ba? So mamaya, alright? So when atoms decay by emitting alpha and beta particle to form a new atom, the nuclei of a new atom formed may still have too much energy to be completely stable. So this excess energy is emitted as gamma rays. Okay? So kapag nangyayari ang decay by emitting alpha and beta particle, meron pa rin kasing excess na energy doon. Ang energy na yun ay na-emit pa rin palabas, pero wala siyang charge, wala ding mass. At yun, ang tawag natin doon ay yung gamma rays. Okay? So gamma rays yan. And this excess energy, okay, the gamma ray proton have energies of 1 times 10 raised to negative 12. Okay? So ang gamma decay natin, so very often a nucleus that undergoes radioactive decay is left in an excited energy state. So excited pa din siya. Okay? So kailangan niya mag-release ng ray or energy para maging stable. So the nucleus can undergo a second decay to a lower energy state by emitting a photon. A photon emitted in that way is called the gamma rays. Ito yung gamma ray natin, yung Y. Okay? Parang ganito yung itsura niya kasi Y, tapos 0 siya and 0 lang din to. It is just a ray. Okay? That is a gamma decay. Okay, so radioisotopes and radionuclides undergo nuclear decay following any 6 modes of radioactive decays to a new atom which is called daughter nuclei. Okay, daughter nuclei yung bagong nabubuo na atom. Okay, for example, yung radium natin kanina, okay, naging radon, pero nag-emit siya ng alpha particle. Okay? Alpha particle na emit niya. Okay? So, ito yung sinasabi natin na daughter nuclide. Daughter, di ba? So, nagkaanak siya. Okay. Ayan. And then, so, that's it for the part 3 of this lecture series. So, ang susunod na subject natin or topic natin will be about half-life. So, stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening.